Okay, so that's a good place to start.
Yeah. So, so what is it like basically taking this show that was basically like a kid's obstacle course show and turning it into this, now it's going to be like this movie experience? What is it kind of like, this revival been like for you guys?
Well, you should start because you were in first and you've got
right. Well, when they approached me on it, I was shocked. I was like, what? They're going to make a movie out of it? I go, I don't. And then as I thought about it, and I used to write screenplays, and I thought about it, I go, well, actually, it kind of makes sense. I go, this is Raiders of the Lost Ark, so, and it's kind of like, and I was thinking, and I actually, back then, before they even give me talking points, but I was like, it's kind of like Jumanji a little bit. I can see how this can work. So I thought it had a natural kind of transition to the screen. As weird as that sounds, to take a game show and make you're not going to put the match game into a movie.
It's never happened.
Yeah, Jeopardy into a movie.
They've never actually made a game show into a movie.
This is the first time.
Oh, yeah.
It's the idea of Jumanji, but that actually wasn't a game. That was a story idea.
Yeah, you could have actually made the game. Did they make the game? Maybe they made.
There is. Yeah, I actually owned the board game when it came out.
Did you?
Yeah.
But that came after the movie.
It was disappointing.
So
It didn't. Things
they
didn't
probably
move.
need to make the game, the board game Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Well, after
I
the
have
wild
all
success.
these genius ideas for marketing.
You should pitch it.
Yes, I do. I'm going to copyright it.
There's important people here, and we could maybe find someone to talk to.
But I thought I thought it was a great idea. I thought, yeah, this makes sense, and I thought it was pretty smart of them to think about doing that.
And they contacted me towards the end of it because I wasn't involved with the actual production of the movie. They only brought me in post-production just to do the sound, just to speak as Olmec. Mm-hmm. And so I came in, and they said, would you like to do it? And I said, yes, I think I would. And then they said, well, we can give you a screening of it and show you what the movie is. And so Kirk and I came together. I think it was the first time you saw it?
Yes.
Yeah. And
we
I'd
hadn't seen each
it.
other in like 21 years.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Quite a while.
Which was really weird, by the way, because when we saw each other, it was like, oh yeah, Dee, hey, how you doing? Like nothing had passed.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks the same.
Yes.
A couple extra wrinkles, but that's about it.
Oh, you got a lot older, but...
Don't I know it? So anyway, there we are sitting. It's like, hey, you want to be in this movie that you're already in? It's like, yeah, I hope it's a good one. But we sat there and we really loved it. It's really fun. And
which is surprising, it can be surprising because it's kind of nerve-wracking. But, I was gripped by the whole thing, watching it.
Yeah.
And surprised by it, which was good. I'm not just saying that. I won't say it if I don't mean it.
You're very genuine when you act genuine.
So can you tell us a little bit about your role in the film?
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, I thought, they kind of approached me and said it was going to be. I can see my spit coming through this because of the back.
It's spectacular.
It's my I feel like I'm on a play. I'm doing a play.
It's spectacular.
They sort of approached it as a cameo, and then I said, yeah, I said, sure. I said, and I don't want to be the big snobby actor. Can you send me a script? Because I want to see like where are you going with this. When I read it, I said, this isn't a cameo. I'm in a lot of pages here.
You're a linchpin character.
Yeah, let me get my marking, my Sharpie out.
Kirk is a linchpin in the plot.
Yeah, so I end up being sort of important in the story, and just like I'm the supporting character in the TV show, I'm the supporting character in the movie.
It's very clever,
really nice.
and it's very fun, and it's funny too. And there's a little bit of heartfelt tear towards the end. Actually, it's kind of sweet.
It's my acting background.
Yeah, you actually had to act, and
I'm a New York trained actor, damn it.
I'm street trained. I was trained in the School of Hard Knocks. That's where I was trained.
Yeah, because it's one of the things, like, I grew up watching, Legends of the Hidden Temple and screaming at people about the silver monkey. Getting the monkey put together
you
correctly.
Gotta move. Right. You got to get moving.
Yes. And, you were always the one
who...
How tall are you? I'm only 5'4".
5'4", okay. You would have been fine. Actually, the shorter the better, because you didn't hit your head when you're going through a lot of those rooms. See, the shorter the better.
I knew I could have made it.
Yes.
You could have. You look like you're fairly savvy. So I think she would have probably done well in the Steps of Knowledge, because there was a lot of guys that would freeze up during the Steps of Knowledge, and the girls would like power them through the Steps of Knowledge. But then, I don't know, it's such a weird thing. Sometimes you think, oh, this girl's going to have so much problem. Then all of a sudden she'd be the one that would get them through, the rounds. So everybody had a shot. But
everybody who watched it wanted to be in that, wanted to do it, and felt that they could do it. That was part of what was so fun, is that it's not just this cool world, but it's this gauntlet that you feel like you could do, and you really want to do it. You really want to be in that world, to run that.
Isn't it really
test.
every kid's sort of fantasy, to be like trying to get through a cave or some sort of being lost and trying to get out? I remember as a kid reading like Tom Sawyer and like the whole cave scene, and trying to get. I mean, that was always like a huge fantasy, is trying to get through these things and get out, and if you can do it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I always liked is that I think one of the things that also appealed about it is that while there was peril involved, there was always safety, like, because Kirk was there, so like nothing really bad was going to happen. And
Yes.
Olmec was there, and it was a safe situation, even though it was pretty harrowing.
Yeah. Dramatic, but
and I imagine
protected.
the younger you were, the probably more you anchored on that a little bit, because
the Temple Guards, it's
were
scary.
frightening. They were frightening.
To walk into a room and have a half-naked man with feathers
Yeah.
coming out of his head grab you from behind and pull you away.
And they would break down and cry. They
some
would
kids
actually break
would
down
actually
and cry.
freak out.
Like as a kid, I was like, oh, they're being wimps. But now I'm like, oh no. I even now I'd be like,
I tell people, I said, put 3 minutes on the clock. You got to find your phone and your keys, and you got to get to an appointment, and you're already late for it. So you're
and
running
put
through your
together an
house.
IKEA chair.
Right.
And put together an IKEA chair, and then we're going to put some scary person in your house to jump out at.
Right. Yeah, well, just that.
Near the fridge.
Okay, today there's going to be a scary person in your house, and at some point,
When you're really stressed out.
and if you don't have this thing, he's going to take you away.
Right. And we vicariously really did get a thrill out of it. The bigger the freak out, the better it was for me.
Yeah, well, that's how you are. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Did you expect?
But I was there
Yeah.
to protect them. You're right. So don't forget that.
Did you expect the show to have such an impact, 15, 20 years later? Did you expect that it would have such a lasting pop culture impact?
It's always surprised me on different levels. Like, I didn't know it was going to be a hit show until all of a sudden I was like at little children's events, for like my brother having birthday parties, and then suddenly kids like freaking out that I was like, there was Kirk Fogg jumping in the bounce house, with them and things like, wow, because nobody really knew me. But it's all of a sudden if I was around like young kids in the beginning, because those were the only people who knew me. Parents didn't really know me because they'd like, here, watch Legends. Well, I can go do something, And but then as I got older, then I started working. Then all of a sudden I find myself on jobs working, and they wouldn't know who I was until all of a sudden they would dawn on them that they were acting with Kirk Fogg. It's weird. It's been weird the whole way through. This is the other weird version of it now.
Yeah.
How about you?
I think Olmec is probably the most impressive thing I'll ever do for fans, because they just love it. I've seen. I remember the first time I realized it. I was doing a show for Video Games Live in Vegas with a large live audience, thousands of people, and they were telling me, "Here comes Dee Baker, as a voice actor. Nobody knows who you are." But when they listed that I was Olmec, and I said Legends of the Hidden Temple, it was like a bomb was set off. The entire crowd went crazy, and I'm like, "Holy cow! You guys really like that show, apparently." Okay, good. And I think it's still like that. It really connected with people, and it was a unique game show in that it's got a story to it that ends up, you can translate it into a really fun movie. I mean, it's very different. There aren't game shows like that. Some that may seem like they're fun for a kid to try, but in terms of, this is more, because it's a world with a story to it, and finally the fans are going to have that. They're going to have that story and that world, and lots of references for those who've seen the show to many things that we had in the game show too. That's part of the fun of it.
I used to tell people also I was Olmec.
And I told them I was Kirk Fogg, and they never believed me.
So you think that the movie is going to be pretty accessible to kids that have never seen the show? And
Yes,
You don't have to have seen
Yeah, you don't
Legends
have
of the Hidden Temple to like it. but if you have, you'll love it
It's
even
going to be
more.
even better.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a great adventure.
Because it, like you said, it does have the Raiders of the Lost Ark feel to it, that kind of thing. But it's got all these iconic things that are sort of that transcend to the next generation anyway, with all the different characters and the different, all the teams are all represented in the movie,
But everybody will want to see
all
it.
the rooms.
You'll see with the trailer. Have you seen the trailer they're releasing today?
Yeah, have
No,
you
I
seen
haven't
it?
gotten to
Oh
see
my
it
god!
yet. Oh my goodness.
Have you seen you saw the last trailer? Oh my god,
This one's even more
Oh my
exciting.
god,
Oh, I'm
it's
really
great.
excited.
really good.
Yeah.
So last question.
Yes.
If you could pick a team to be on, which team would you be on?
Mine's
I
gonna be
just
Purple
called you
Parrots.
B.
You call me B. Pick a letter, any letter.
I had a grandma B, and you
Call me
reminded
J.
of her.
Call me Q. I'd like to be Q.
You want to be the Purple Parrots?
Purple Parrots.
They were the softies.
I wore purple underwear today in honor of the Purple Parrots.
Right.
Well, that's the
And I-
scoop right there.
What was your
I
favorite
was
team?
putting that out there.
I was really big into the Silver Snakes.
Okay, thank you.
See?
That was my.
Well, that was the team that
And
won
I
the
don't
most.
think it's appropriate for me to name one, but I do always say the Silver Snakes, and I always say it. And this is my standard answer. They were more the down and dirty, get down in the mud kind of guys. They would come out of lunch with pizza stains on their shirts, and they would all look a little ragtag, and I just sort of rooted for them.
The Purple
Silver
Parrots were
looks
the
good on
underdog,
me.
and I was rooting for them.
No, Purple Parrots. They never won.
Silver monkey.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.